Hi, I'm Suzie Dills, and I'm the director of the Hoover-Price Planetarium at the William McKinley Presidential Library and Museum, and welcome to this week's Astro Adventures. Coming up tomorrow, May 7th, we're going to see the last supermoon of 2020. We've been talking a bit about the supermoon over the last couple months, so it'll just appear a little bit brighter, a little bit larger in your evening sky. So hopefully you will have clear skies and you can get out and enjoy that glorious moonlight. And according to folklore, long ago, people called this the full flower moon because of the abundance of flowers at this time of year. And for the Native Americans, they called this moon the full milk moon or the full corn planting moon. So you can imagine they could plant corn by the light of the full moon. But why the milk moon? Well, at this time of year, we're seeing a lot of weeds, grasses, shrubs growing, emerging, and that was plenty of food for their sheep, goats, and cows. So the more these animals ate, the more milk they produced. So hence the full milk moon. Now, have you ever been out on a night of a full moon and seeing it rising over the horizon? It is huge. Well, that's something we call the moon illusion. And this optical illusion has been puzzling scientists for thousands of years. And what is happening? Your brain is comparing the moon to familiar reference points at the horizons, such as trees, buildings, and mountains. So it looks bigger. But when it's high overhead, there's nothing to compare it to, so it looks smaller. A great experiment to try, maybe, to see whether or not it really changes in sizes, is to take a picture when it's at the horizon and then to take a picture when it's high overhead and compare. It'll be the same size. By the way, the moon rises at 8:58 tomorrow evening, so get a great view of the eastern sky and maybe you'll get to take part in that moon illusion. To further explain the moon illusion is something we call the Ebbinghaus illusion. So if you take a look at these diagrams, notice the orange dot. What if I told you the orange dot in that diagram is the same size? So what is happening is the objects surrounding the dots have an effect on your brain, just like the moon illusion. And here is something called a moon halo. It looks very magical. And I was very lucky last week to see a moon halo. Stepped outside, took a look up, and it was just beautiful. And moon halos are also called lunar rainbows, moonbows, or lunar halos. And when moonlight passes through thin clouds of ice crystals high in the atmosphere, the way the light is refracted, this is how we see that effect. And believe it or not, we see these more often than we see rainbows. And another thing about a moon halo was people used to foretell the weather forecast because those thin clouds are something we call cirrus clouds. And cirrus clouds are those high, thin clouds that are always preceding stormy weather coming. And another thing about full moonlight, it's very strange. Moonlight steals color, sort of like you're looking at a black and white TV image. And if we think about our human eye, our retina is like an organic digital camera with two pixels called cones and rods. So the cones in our human eye only work in bright light, allowing us to see colors and fine details. Well, moonlight lacks the intensity for the cones to perceive colors properly, especially red. So when you're out in full moonlight, it is really hard to see colors. And I always like to try and experiment to look for something that might be red and see what the effect is. Things are sort of going to have that gray look. And our rods are responsible for night vision and work with low light intensity. But the problem with rods is they're colorblind and are absent from the central part of the retina called the fovea, which the brain uses for reading. So although we have that night vision, we have a very hard time reading or seeing colors at nighttime. So try this fun experiment. Next full moon, observe colors and try reading something under moonlight. And our moon is going to make a nice pass through our early morning planets coming up for this week. So once again, you have to be that early morning riser, get up before sunrise. You're going to look towards the southeast. Jupiter is going to be the most brilliant. Saturn will be just to the left, and Mars will be further over to the left, sort of that reddish color, but we're going to see the moon pass by those three wonderful planets in our morning sky. And just a quick briefing on our night sky highlights. Remember that Venus is still burning brightly in our evening sky for a few more weeks. Our northern constellations featuring the Big Bear, Big Dipper, riding high in the sky. And when you find that familiar pattern of the Big Dipper, just use those two stars at the end of the cup of the Big Dipper, and remember to draw that line down over to the North Star or Polaris. And then our eastern constellations, brilliant Arcturus, sliding down to the semicircle Northern Crown, or Corona Borealis, and then of course our brave and strongest hero, the crooked square shape, Hercules. And then don't forget to check out the star maps and also our May checklist. You can find those on the museum Facebook page, and also if you head on over to my website, starrytrails.com. So don't forget to check out the William McKinley Presidential Library and Museum Facebook page and also starrytrails.com for our checklists, our map, and on starrytrails.com you can also see star maps, my audio tour, and other activities. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for coming by today.